take part in caucus night. The plan calls for a virtual caucus that will take place over several nights leading up to the precinct caucus that will be accessible by phone and by smartphone app. Oh, wow. The goal is to make sure that every Democrat in Iowa, regardless of physical condition, weather, job, schedule, or personal reason, has a way to help select the party's nominee for President of the United States. Because this can't be hacked any more than the Democrat Party was hacked in the 2016 election, right? And the results can't be modified any more than they were modified when Bernie was winning and somehow Hillary was chosen above him. Hillary being selected, even though Bernie was the more popular. You know, that popular vote, those Democrats claim that a lot of times, but it doesn't always, go that way. You got those super PACs and all that. They can rig an election. They can rig Hillary over Bernie, and it's not a big deal. That's fine. As long as the D's there, they're happy. But the claim that Russian hacked the election, oh, now that's a big problem. That's a big problem. Nobody has ever said that it affected the election, but that doesn't matter because if you're not a Democrat, your point of view doesn't matter. And there's no way you could have ever elected somebody legitimately because you're nobody. You're that flyover country. You're not a Democrat. You are not important. We've got to take a time out, folks. One more segment after this, so stay tuned. Smoke them if you got them,
because the John Lebang Show will be right back
after this.
That's guaranteed. Yes.
At Absolute Skin and Body Care, they only use the best laser equipment in the industry so that you receive the best results possible. They'll explain all the procedures in detail and answer all of your questions. Absolute Skin and Body Care. If you're looking for skin rejuvenation, laser lipo, or laser hair removal, call Absolute Skin and Body Care. They're located at 37625 Ann Arbor Road, Suite 105 in Livonia, Michigan. Absolute Skin and Body Care. Their office phone numbers are 248-305-3000. That's 248-305-3000. Absolute Skin and Body Care.
You're listening to the John Lebang Show,
and it's so much fun.
How do you think ABC feels right now? I mean, they had Jussie the storyteller on to tell about this fantastic story of him being attacked in a hate crime, and we're coming to find out that it was allegedly set up, and he paid his brothers to beat him up, or to an apparent beat up. Just enough to cause a little scratch here so he can go on TV. He insisted to be on TV because of the hate crime in the United States. And boy, did ABC show how well and how credible their news agency is, that they give an interview to a guy that was telling a big old story that had no factual truth that he set up. I mean, it gets even better because the entire left-wing media jumped on this story like you wouldn't believe. They were all over it, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to let you hear what the left-wing mainstream media was telling you about this without checking their facts. So they were reporting fake news, and we've caught them many times in the past, but today we're going to exhibit another example of it. Get this montage.
Beaten with a noose around his neck and hospitalized. Empire star Jussie Smollett was the victim of a vicious, racist, and homophobic attack.
His attackers hurled racial and homophobic slurs.
Two people yelled racist and homophobic slurs.
Racial and homophobic slurs.
Not only homophobia, we're talking about racism. We're talking about hate with steroids.
They are looking for two suspects who were apparently wearing Make America Great Again hats.
The offenders uttered, "This is MAGA country."
The hate crime went down early this morning in Chicago.
Officials are investigating the alleged assault as a hate crime.
And now police say they're investigating this as a possible hate crime.
Anyone attacked in a hate crime like this is an outrage.
This is stomach-turning, mind-boggling information. It's out of control.
Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi tweeting the racist, homophobic attack on Jussie Smollett is an affront to our humanity.
And Senator Cory Booker said the vicious attack on actor Jussie was an attempted modern-day lynching.
Kamala Harris calling the attack an attempted modern-day lynching.
But I'm so shaken by the story. This is horrible to report. This is a horrible story. This is a horrible story.
Yeah.
I mean, the circumstances are just horrific.
Horrendous and unacceptable.
Absolutely despicable.
Yeah, a lot of people can't believe this is actually happening in 2019.
It's hard to believe that we're reporting, that we're even saying words like this in 2019.
And this is America in 2019.
And it was all fake news, ladies and gentlemen. Complete fake news. The mainstream credible media jumped right on this story because it fit the narrative that they have been building for years in this country. And they were going to use it as an opportunity to showcase their point of view. And it came back to bite them in the butt because, one, they didn't check. So now they have egg on their face. All of them have egg on their face. They have no credibility. ABC has none. CNN has none. MSNBC has none. E! Entertainment. All of them. Done. And I'm surprised anybody would give these guys credibility at this point. I mean, CNN has falling ratings. I can understand that more people are going away from that organization because they're just awful at what they do. Or they're good at what they do, but they're awful at reporting factual news. They have a bias completely tilted to the left. And that's not journalism. What happened here wasn't journalism. So the fake news does it again. And they're not gonna get blocked on Facebook. Their articles are not gonna get blocked where they're gonna get a little symbol saying these people have reported fake news in the past. I can guarantee you that there's gonna be no blocking of this information or any future information from the organizations that reported the fake news without checking the source to make sure they validated everything that the person was saying. They believe them. They believe Jussie, the storyteller, and now they got egg on their face. And as a independent voice in all this, I just have to smile. Because I do a better job of checking my sources than these guys do. Of course, they have a lot more people listening to them and spreading their propaganda. Notice they haven't talked very much about that Steele dossier and how it was all fabricated by the Clintons. And that's what the Russian probe was all based on, and that's how they got the FISA warrant, and that's how they got all these people indicted on things that don't really have to do with anything with the election in Russia. The worst thing close to the election is they paid off a couple of prostitutes or porn stars or hookers, and they try to keep them quiet for having, some fun with the president. Now here's some real news for you. Senior FBI officials scramble to protect Hillary Clinton at all costs. In the days running up to the 2016 presidential election, a batch of new emails have shown. Now, why isn't that in the mainstream media? Because that's provable. That's factual. Guess they don't want to talk about that. But we will. The FBI email threads show that the Bureau's highest-ranking officials doing everything in their power to appease Hillary Clinton's team. As reported by Fox News, the trove of documents turned over by the FBI in response to a lawsuit by the transparency group Judicial Watch also included discussions by former FBI lawyer Lisa Page concerning a potential quid pro quo between the State Department and the FBI, in which the FBI would agree to effectively hide the fact that Clinton's email was classified in exchange for more legal attaché positions that would benefit the FBI abroad. Real news. The quid pro quo would have involved the FBI providing some other public reason for withholding the Clintons' email from disclosure amid a Freedoms of Information Act request besides its classification level. But there are no indications that the purpose arrangement ever took place. Why? Well, I can tell you why. Because Clinton didn't win. Couple more things. House votes to halt aid for Saudi Arabia's war in Yemen. Hey, good job, Democrats. I'm off. That's one thing I'm okay with. We shouldn't be sending money anywhere, but I'm sure they will take that money and not send it to the president to build the wall. They'll do it. They'll send it somewhere else. Let's see. Judge rules Paul Manafort lied in violation of plea deal. Now, you have to get beyond the headline to understand what actually happened here. But most people will just read the headline and go, oh, he lied. He's lying about Russia. Well, Paul Manafort lied to investigators about his contacts with an associate the FBI had linked to Russian intelligence despite agreeing to the plea deal requiring him to tell prosecutors what they wanted to hear. And so off to jail you go. Great justice system, more like just us. We got Madeline Halfbright lecturing us about what fascism is. Let's not talk about your party, Madeline. Your party is the party that sends people out to restaurants to harass people while they're having dinner. Your party is out there while people are going to a Trump rally and trying to beat them up. That's what your party's about. So before you talk about fascism, I'd take that microscope and probably turn it inward on the party that you represent. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, one last thing about this national emergency, and then we got to get on out of here. And it's simple as this. This whole thing could have been averted if there was true bipartisanship when the Republicans had the power. When the Republicans owned the House, the Senate, and the presidency, all this could have, should have been taken care of. But the Republicans chose to punt it down the road for some reason, to put it back into the hands of the Democrats. A whole lot of Republicans got out in that last election. There might have been a reason for that. Who knows? But that's it for this hour of the John Lebang Show. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Please go to my website. That's www.jlebang.com. If you've missed any portion of this broadcast, or if you want to catch maybe an archive of a prior show, it's all there for your listening pleasure. Want to thank all of my affiliate stations for carrying the John Lebang Show. And with that being said, until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, I'm John Lebang, signing off from the Banger Studios. See you next week.
2, 1. We have liftoff. Tune in again next week. Same time, same space, same station. resistance.